What's good, you guys? It's Boomer and Jer watching Bali Star. Today, we're getting into how Drake just got even more pathetic. Let's find out, man. I just know he got exposed again for not having to have written one of his songs, Mob Ties. You know, that like he copied off of like a reference track or something. So apparently a lot of people like that song, and this became a huge deal that he didn't write that particular song. I mean, is it really a surprise though? You know, it's like we been knew he had ghostwriters. I mean, you should have known that most of the songs that he put out, he most likely have not written. So I don't know why this is still such a big issue, but it is. Let's get straight on into it. Let's go.
Another day passes, the gaping hole that Drake's career is being dug into is still somehow getting deeper. And after Drake just proved that Kendrick Lamar really is the boogeyman of hip-hop, as he just made himself look like a fool, as right after this insane feud, he rapped over the BBL Drizzy beat on none other than a sexy red...
Oh, okay. I thought we removed it. I thought this was past that. Yeah, the BBL, he rapped over the BBL Drizzy beat. I mean, it didn't take away from the fact that the rest of the song, as you know, Drake featured on that song with Sexy Red. Sexy Red, that is her song, and he featured on that using that beat, included, because that wasn't the original beat of that song. He just included that particular beat into the song, which had a different beat. But it didn't take away from the fact that the song was still, oh my god, especially the way it started, bro. It's like that South Park episode, the recent one, the South Park special, where the guy was listening to a Lizzo. You know what I'm saying? Check it out, man. If you haven't seen the new South Park, man, I mean, you can see clips of it. But, you know, especially since they included Lizzo into South Park now. But, yeah, the guy was listening to Lizzo, and there's literally shit coming out of his ears. You feel me? That's how the song was to me, bro. Especially when it just started. I was like, oh, God. Oh, goodness, bro. Just skip it. Just skip it to Drake's part.
No, this wasn't even the worst thing that's happened to Drake recently, as after a ton of music leaks from artists like himself, Kanye West, Travis Scott, and Kendrick Lamar hit the internet recently, one of the most jarring discoveries through all of the lost music media that was discovered was a reference track to the 8th song off Drake's 2018 album Scorpion, Mob Ties, that was performed and written by Vory. And while even recently, Drake has had other reference tracks.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to say the name, but I wanted to make sure I got the right artist. Yeah, it was like made by Vory, and Drake, you know what I'm saying, made it his own, but it was originally referenced by Vory. I wanted to say the name, but I want to make sure I got it right.
Poppin' off Her Lost, and also Cash Cobain with Calling For You from For All The Dogs. These reference tracks leaking didn't really even stain Drake or prove anything to us that we didn't already know. As with these songs saying absolutely nothing of substance or meaning anything beyond just being mindless bangers that showcase Drake evolving with times. Outside of showing that Drake is just copying and pasting the mold set by younger and hotter artists to hop on their waves. These tracks showed us nothing groundbreaking, but with Mob Ties, this tells us something completely different and way more troubling about not just the way Drake makes music, but about who he really is deep down inside as a man, and when you find out why, you'll forever question if anything Drake has said in his music is even real. So with the song Mob Ties,
I will tell you this. Everything he dropped after Nothing Was the Same most likely isn't. Because I just told this to my homie just the other day. It's like, bro, Drake, I feel like Drake was at his peak at Nothing Was the Same. Because once I heard Views, it just didn't hit the same. It just didn't feel authentic. You feel me? Because... and I'm pretty sure, I mean, The Weeknd wrote most of the tracks on Take Care, but still, it's like Drake was still telling his story, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, how life was before he was famous up until Nothing Was the Same. Like at Nothing Was the Same, he was still telling it, but you could. I started personally started to see that he was starting to lose sight of, you know, of his authenticity and, you know, the of his storytelling, his personal stories and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But still kept most of his you know, of his authentic stories in there, and who he was as a person. But once it got to views, well, I only heard like 1, 2 songs that still kept that same value, but it just didn't hit the same, bro. It didn't feel authentic. It didn't feel like, you know, he was like he was telling who he was as a person anymore. It just went to like ego mania or some shit, man. Some ego trip shit. You feel me? And from there, that increased the ego centric music making.
It's important to remember the pivotal time in hip hop that this song released during, and for Drake, how important a cut like this was for his career and reputation at the time. Now, right before this track, and for that matter, the entire Scorpion album came out, Drake was on the hottest...
the music still hit. You know, the beats and the way he would cadence his flows, that was still a hit. You know, and a lot of people still liked it. But it's like, it wasn't increasing in value to me personally anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, if anything, it was just stagnating. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just something just to put out there. You know, it didn't really matter. It didn't. It was just something just to listen to and to bop to.
The seat of his career at the time is after being beaten by Pusha T in one of the most diabolical ways that any rap beef has ever been won with a song like The Story of Adana. With Mob Ties, it is clear that Drake was alluding to what went down with Push throughout this song in addition to him. Kanye West, who Drake was also in the height of their beef with at the time because Drake believed that Ye leaked Push the information about his long-lost kid. And with this track's personal lyricism that takes such close aim to Drake's biggest rivals at the time, having it all be written and performed by another artist would already be one thing. But the fact that during his interview on LeBron James's The Shop all the way back in 2018, when Drake was addressing this beef and really trying to explain how he wasn't as big of a loser that everybody thought and that he was actually a victim, he said that after Push's Story of Adana, instead of feeding into that energy and clapping back at him with more diss tracks, Drake was above this and just put this energy right back into the Scorpion album as he
he definitely wasn't above it. It was a certain somebody that told him, a certain somebody of importance that told him, hey, don't drop it. You feel me? Someone Drake had to listen to, I guess. That's a big I guess. You feel me? But yeah, that certain somebody told him not to drop it, otherwise you're gonna cause something you don't want to cause. So
created songs like In My Feelings, Nonstop, and most importantly to his confidence, demeanor, and credibility at the time, Mob Ties, which was a big moment that really asserted that while Drake still may have been embarrassed, he was still able to show that he can be feared on the mic. And with Drake holding this track as this creation he made when his career was facing some perceived conflict at the time, and straight up labeling it as this moment where he showed that he was still so powerful and unbeatable, and even tried to go as far to convince people on television that he won the beef by making cuts like this. Now that we have heard this reference track from Vori, who has wrote and performed the song, we are seeing that Drake is just straight up comfortable to lie to even somebody as respected and great as LeBron James, and just try to make what he is doing seem like something else and make it fit a narrative that strengthens his image at the expense of being transparent. And from a moment like this, to even The Hard Part 6 where Drake just gaslighted people for 6 minutes. Because of everything that's coming to light, whether it's the social media user who debunks Drake's story of him setting up Kendrick with the item seen on diss tracks like Meet the Grams, or it's this moment right here, where one of Drake's most important songs personally when it came to saving his reputation in his career was not even written by him. Drake's tendency to not just bend the truth, but completely fabricate situations to try to make his image look better is a recurring pattern from him, and when we see that Drake could even lie about the nature of songs even when his character is being questioned most, it really makes you sit and wonder what else he has lied about that we don't even know. Now, out of all of the Drake songs we have found out were ghostwritten by other artists over the years, this is without a doubt the worst one we have ever gotten, because while songs like 10 Bands or any of the other songs recently are tracks that were made to be bangers and turned down the substance all to be catchy, while Mob Ties does have its catchy moments, it's a pretty personal cut from Drake that was supposed to be letting us into his mind and emotional state in a time where he believed he could not trust anyone in his career, and now, to find out that even with Push revealing his kid, and him and Ye not being in a good place, and overall, just being conflicted on if there are people around him who are leaking out info, to see that even a song like this was not made by him and was simply designed to not just mimic Drake's cadences and vocal posits, but also what he is feeling within his own head, more than ever just reveals to us that Drake is not an artist, but a brand, that even in what seems like his most vulnerable or personal moments...
I heard this somewhere that, like, Drake is an actor in his greatest role yet. Now, Aubrey is an actor in his greatest role yet.
We don't even know if what he is getting across is even real or not. Now, besides the humiliating loss of this beef that Drake has only kept making worse, the most damaging thing that has come out of this feud is that Drake is a straight-up liar who is making up more about his career and the very nature of his music than we ever have thought. And when we consider this, and put into perspective how Drake doesn't just lie about how personal his music is, but tries to gaslight everyone, from his fans to LeBron James, about how deep and important everything is, how can we even respect him in the same light as other hip-hop greats? And overall, in a genre like hip-hop, where authenticity is still one of the most vital factors for any artist to find success, especially as any sort of lyricist or storyteller, how can we give Drake the same respect as other MCs? Because he isn't just having other people scribbling about the life he lives. But what this Vori reference track is showing is that other people are flat out thinking as him, and when you try to wear the crown and rap, to be this big of a fraud is just an awful look and should force everyone to reevaluate your place in the hip-hop world if they have not already. So all in all, with another massive dent on Drake's armor, I don't know how many more of these he can take till he just decides to switch things up, or maybe even walk away from rap as a whole for a few years like he has said he wanted to before all this, because with each moment that he acts like a fool or new information releases about him, Drake manages to look worse and worse all the way to now, where he has stained his entire legacy, because who knows, as Drake was around lyricists as young as Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole when he was writing Take Care, and also ghostwriters like Skyzoo. Maybe his entire career has molded in this way, where Drake is more of a character being played that people almost come in and write for like a TV show, as opposed to Drake being his own entity that no matter what, is rapping from an authentic place and telling us a real-life story in some shape or form. So let me know, what do you think of this strange Drake story, and how do you think this whole elaborate lie he got caught in doesn't just affect a song like Mob Ties, but his integrity and career as a whole? If this song is ghostwritten, do you think even more lyrical Drake cuts like his AM/PM series are handled by other writers too? I can't wait to hear what you have to say, and if you want to see other rap beefs right alongside Drake vs. Kendrick...
Yeah, bro. And you thought Degrassi might have been the peak of his career. No, acting in this show called Now I'm a Rapper might have been his best role, man. It might have been a better show than Power, than The Wire. This is Now I'm a Rapper by Aubrey Graham. The best hip-hop show the world has ever seen. Y'all let me know your thoughts about it down in the comment section down below, man. Y'all know it's Boomer, and you're watching Bali Star. Make sure to leave a like, support the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new, so that you join up with the Bomb Squad. And I'm going to catch y'all in the next one, 100. Oh!
Yeah.